Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. It looks like Iron Fist and Luke Cage might be coming back a little sooner than expected in the MCU. Earlier this year, Marvel confirmed they had officially canonized all those Netflix Defender shows to the MCU, starting with Daredevil and The Punisher. After that, I think most of us just expected the other Defenders characters to return eventually, too. If it was all going to be canon, why not bring them all back? Cut to a couple months later, now that the Marvel snipers don't have guns trained on all the actors, they finally started talking about it themselves, too, so we'll break it all down. We've also heard about some upcoming projects that are going to feature the characters too, like Shang-Chi 2 with a version of Iron Fist, so I'll talk about that during the video too. It does sound like Marvel has a lot of plans for all those different Defenders characters in different ways. If you're brand new to the channel, I do videos for all this stuff all the time. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. We're getting ready for Daredevil Born Again episodes next year. That'll be like the first big new series with those Defenders characters. And because they confirmed that it's all canon now, it'll be more like Daredevil Season 4 instead of just being Daredevil Born Again, like a completely different thing. It'll build on all the continuity that came before it on those Netflix Defenders shows. Same thing with Jon Bernthal's Punisher shows up in those new episodes. His series, The Punisher Season 1, Season 2 will be canon, so everything that happens with his character will just build on his character development so far. Jessica Jones also teased her return last year. Now the latest is Finn Jones teasing the return of his Iron Fist, as well as Luke Cage, and even Colleen Wing. He's done a couple interviews about both him and Jessica Henwick coming back as her Colleen Wing, and he's also talked a lot about doing a version of Heroes for Hire with Luke Cage in the MCU. Now he's just outright teasing it a little bit more openly. Recently, you may have seen he just posted a picture on his Instagram of Power Man and Iron Fist number 125, which was the final issue of that particular series. That was what Marvel called the first version of Heroes for Hire. They were still calling Luke Cage Power Man at the time. During the issue, Colleen Wing and Misty Knight, also from that Netflix series, are teamed up as the Daughters of the Dragon. A lot of people have been asking for them to do Daughters of the Dragon in the MCU now, too. This person they're fighting on the cover isn't Iron Man, even though he looks kind of like Iron Man. He was a villain named John Loomis who was just wearing a power suit like Iron Man's, who was trying to kill Luke Cage and Iron Fist, blaming them for the death of his brother. And the other thing that's going on here too is Finn Jones is sort of teasing himself in the MCU with Luke Cage, because now the whole idea, and Charlie Cox has talked about this for Daredevil Born Again, the fact that they're coming into the MCU, meaning that they can cross over with a bunch of characters that they couldn't necessarily do when they were on the Netflix shows. So very apropos, Finn Jones teasing this particular issue. In this particular issue, there's a bunch of Avengers, Fantastic Four characters, Namor, Daredevil, like basically a bunch of different MCU characters that we're going to be seeing in the next couple of years. Speaking of crazy crossovers, thank you to today's sponsor, Marvel Rivals, Marvel's newly announced game. It's a superhero team-based PvP shooter that will be free to play when it launches. This trailer in the video represents a lot of the playable characters that launch, like Spider-Man, the Avengers characters, Iron Man, the Hulk, Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther, Namor. They've even got Magic from the New Mutants characters for those of you that want to see more X-Men characters popping up in the games, like Doctor Strange, Loki, even Scarlet Witch. Can't leave Scarlet Witch out. Form different teams of characters using all their different abilities together in synergy to form powerful combinations. A lot of this stuff might look familiar since we know we're going to be doing a version of Marvel Studios' Secret Wars in the movies eventually too. You can interact with and destroy the environments if you want, reshaping the terrain, crafting your own battlefields. The game Marvel Rivals will be available on PC at launch, so be sure to check out the links in the description and see the game's website. You can also sign up for their closed alpha, which is going to begin in May. But the fact that Finn Jones is teasing this particular issue of Power Man and Iron Fist is just him teasing Heroes for Hire in the MCU in a meta-commentary kind of way, like, oh, we're going to be doing this in the MCU, so now we can cross over with all these characters in other different teams, major teams, that we couldn't do before.
I mean, I love Danny Rand. I love Danny Rand. I love that character. I love everything about him. I think he's such a jewel. A lot of room for growth. Personally, where I would like to see the reintroduction of the character would be something like a Heroes for Hire TV series. I think that would be the most dynamic and the most fun way to reintroduce those characters. And I think I loved working with Mike. I loved the on-screen chemistry between Danny and Luke. I'd love to pick up the mantle again and keep moving this character forward, and make it the best possible Iron Fist that there could be.
So the fact that Finn Jones is purposefully teasing this on his Instagram now probably means he's been talking to Marvel about returning in the MCU in some kind of project, probably some sort of Heroes for Hire type of project. But it's currently unclear exactly what that project would look like what exactly are they going to be doing when they come back. We do know there's supposed to be a version of Iron Fist showing up in the MCU later this year in the Black Panther series called Eyes of Wakanda. That's meant to be a completely different show in Wakanda about a different group of people across the ages, going back in the history of Wakanda, meant to protect vibranium from outsiders, quote unquote, basically protect it from villains around the world trying to steal it. And at some point during that show, they were supposed to feature a version of Iron Fist. The reason why everybody thinks this new version of Iron Fist that we're going to see during Eyes of Wakanda is meant to be the ancient version of Iron Fist, like the very first person to wield it, is because there's a time travel element, so to speak, during the series, because it's going to take place over the different ages, so we'll probably just see the older versions of Black Panther during the series. One of these versions of Black Panther, these characters back in the past, will probably run into this ancient version of Iron Fist. And Marvel's kind of known for doing this, like they tease a character or they have a cameo in some smaller project, then they debut as a much bigger character in some future movie. Best example of that is Tom Holland's Spider-Man, like he has a cameo in Captain America Civil War, then he goes on to Spider-Man Homecoming in his own solo trilogy. Now, it's not totally clear if this ancient Iron Fist that everybody's talking about is either Fan Fei from the more recent Avengers 1 million BC team, or if it's going to be Wu Aoshi, the Pirate Queen of Pinghai Bay. During the Iron Fist Netflix series, they were using her as the canonical first female to wield the Iron Fist. In Marvel Comics, she was just the current Iron Fist during the 1500s. But during the Netflix show, when they were explaining how Colleen Wing was descended from the Iron Fist lineage, Danny Rand names Wu Aoshi as her ancestor.
Nagging me ever since Frank Choi told us your mother's story. I've heard that story before, Colleen. In Kunlun. A story about the first woman to defeat the dragon. Her name was Wu Aoshi. You know her as the Pirate Queen of Pinghai Bay. A woman who may very well be your ancestor.
So that was a small change on the part of the Netflix show, but in the MCU, because they change the comics all the time, they might just carry that idea forward and say that this ancient Iron Fist that comes back in the Black Panther series and Shang-Chi runs into while he's time traveling is Wu Aoshi. Because the next big place we're supposed to see a version of Iron Fist in the MCU is in Shang-Chi 2. And supposedly it's supposed to be the same version of Iron Fist that we see in the Black Panther series. Based on all the time travel that's supposed to be happening in the movie, the early theory right now is that Shang-Chi goes back into the past because of the Ten Rings plot. He learns more about the origin of the Ten Rings, the reason for their creation in the MCU. In the time period that he travels back to is when this ancient Iron Fist is active, and he just runs into them there. With a lot of kung fu battles before they work together, since that's the typical arc of most kung fu movies. Like they treat each other like enemies first, wary of each other, until they realize neither of them are villains, they start working together. And it sounds like the plot will just directly flow from the post-credit scene teaser and the signal the Ten Rings were broadcasting.
They don't match any artifacts from our codex.
How long did your dad have them before he gave them to you?
About 1,000 years?
Their thermoluminescence indicates they're older than that. By a lot.
A beacon.
They're sending a message.
A message to where?
Here's the thing though, we were all expecting that the signal coming from inside the Ten Rings was broadcasting to someone else in present day of the MCU, either someone like Kang, because there were so many similarities in the markings of the Ten Rings and Kang's technology during Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Or they were broadcasting a signal to someone in another dimension because the whole race of people came from another dimension, including the race of Great Protector dragons. But the Ten Rings were meant to have crashed to Earth more than 1,000 years ago, according to Shang-Chi. When Wu only found them about 1,000 years ago, then they'd been lying there for much longer before he found them. So it sounds like they might be broadcasting a signal to the person or people who created them in the past, like the signal is transmitting across time into the past. And Shang-Chi will just follow the signal like a beacon, and through that he'll learn more about the Ten Rings and why they were created in the first place, and more about the origin of the dragons. One of my early Iron Fist theories a couple years ago about how they could re-include the character in the Shang-Chi movies is just say that he gets his power from a dragon like he does in the comics, but the dragon that each version of Iron Fist has to kill to take its power, like take its heart to gain the Iron Fist, comes from the race of Great Protector dragons that Shang-Chi's people worship. So essentially it makes Iron Fist kind of a villain to Shang-Chi, like, oh, you killed the Great Protector dragon to take your power, that means that you're an enemy to me. It kind of sounds like they're using a version of that idea, but in the past. We already know a little bit about the actual backstory of the 10 Rings of Power themselves. In the comics, their backstory got retconned a couple times, so it has changed over the history. Originally, the Mandarin character who Wenwu is based on is an Iron Man character, so this all started in the Iron Man comics. But in the classic Iron Man comics, they started out as 10 different cylinders used by the McLuhans, space dragons basically, meant to power their interstellar spaceship that was super powerful. And that was it. Like, they were just meant to be very powerful, but not Infinity Stone level power. Then in the more recent Iron Man comics, they retconned them again, saying that they were always created by the McLuhans to be powerful weapons, and each of the different rings were 10 cylinders containing the trapped souls of powerful cosmic warriors, and each of the rings possessed kind of a cosmic AI awareness. Like the Infinity Stones, or even if you're talking about Lord of the Rings of Power, the One Ring of Power, the rings were alive. Just like the Infinity Stones are alive, like they have a consciousness of their own, a will that they exert on the wearer. Sometimes they're often more powerful wills than the wearer, and they can just cause them to do whatever they want them to do. Either way, it's super cool that Marvel is open to bringing Iron Fist and Luke Cage back in the MCU. If they're bringing all the other Defenders characters back, it would be weird if you never saw those characters again, especially like Colleen Wing, other characters that people really did like in those original series. Everybody let me know in the comments what you want them to do with those characters when they do eventually bring them back. I think most people do want to see a version of Heroes for Hire. I'm not totally expecting them to do Daughters of the Dragon. Colleen Wing could show up just about anywhere. But whatever we wind up hearing in the next couple of years, of course I will do videos for it. I'm not expecting them to show up like the Finn Jones version of Danny Rand or even Luke Cage for a good long while, just because they're focused on Daredevil and Punisher stuff right now. But there's a bunch of stuff coming up. We're in the middle of X-Men 97 episodes. I'm doing videos for all of those. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss anything. And we should be getting a new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer pretty soon as well, too. Everybody click here for that brand new Thunderbolts teaser that Marvel just released, and click here for all my Deadpool and Wolverine videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.